All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about real music and drama. I don't have the music ready. I'm sorry. I could do as the Ario turns, but I'm not going to do it. And for some of you, that's good because sometimes the music comes through a little bit too loud. Anyway, doing what I do in real time for a few real people out here just like you and just like me. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about REO Speedwagon. And so here, take a look at this. Richrath, Project 313. And this you should check out. If you're a fan of Gary Richrath, you'll notice that there are just pictures of Gary, right? Pretty cool, huh? This was sent to me a couple of years ago, and I can't remember who sent it to me, but they were really nice to do that. And they noticed I was talking positively about Gary. I think I did a video about him. And a guitar god with a small g, folks, small g for you Christians out there. I'm not comparing him to Jesus or anything, but he was a really great guitarist. And anyway, so Kevin Cronin took to Facebook. I'm not on Facebook too often. When I come over here to look at stuff, I typically feel like I need to take a shower after I do this. But anyway, so this is what he says. Hi, friends. Lori Money, who is Eddie Money's wife, his widow, sent this chart to my wife, and Lisa found this photo of Gary and me. Oh, when Kevin puts up photos of Gary, of course, Gary and Kevin both smiling here. So he felt as though he needed to celebrate the anniversary of Can't Fight This Feeling, a song that I'm pretty sure Gary Richrath didn't like all that much, all right? It did reach #1 and spent 3 weeks there. Okay. I still remember being in the control room with Gary Allen and David DeVore, co-producing perhaps the most personal song I have ever written. So posting, all right, notice something here. So posting this awesome picture, which it is, with Gary, right, turns into the most personal song I, Kevin Cronin, have ever written. I am honored that so many of you took my little song and made it your own. All right, so it ends up being more about Kevin. And again, this is posted on REO Speedwagon Official. It's a public group with 4,200 members. I think someone asked me to join this group. And folks, there's no way. I don't have the time to even invest in just my own patrons sometimes. I mean, you don't understand. Once you start doing this, you could be consumed 24/7 with the comments. Now, speaking of comments, here we go. This is kind of interesting. So Gary hated that song. What did I just say? Lori Money is the best. Now, you know, it'd be cool if somebody would go out there and do a couple of Eddie Money tunes. I mean, there's a guy who's sorely missed. Loved Eddie Money. So underrated. Another guy who could have been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Seriously, they're putting Cyndi Lauper in. They put in Cyndi and Eddie Money, not going to be there. Rick Derringer, who just passed away, who worked... Okay, now I'm going off on a tangent. Rick Derringer, let me finish the thought, who worked with Cyndi Lauper. He's not going in, but Cyndi is. Do you think there's a political agenda, by the way, over at the Hall of Fame? All right, song became my wife and I's favorite song in '84. Yep, it's a good song. I'm tired of it. It's too played. It's overplayed. Great song. You guys were fantastic. Your little song? Or REO Speedwagon's song that the entire band made? They made your song more than a little song. You were part of a greater sum. You're talented for sure, but lots of talented people never go anywhere. It's the collective talent that made it great. Like America, folks. By the way, the courts are blocking everything. Just want to let you know. Apparently, Now we can't put tariffs on other countries. So we're not really going to make America great. It's going to continue to be mediocre because of the courts. Anyway, the guy concludes here, and he got a couple of thumbs up. You obviously never understood that. And see, someone else noticed what I noticed. Always gotta be about KC. Right. You post a picture with Gary. So you would think it would be, hey, I really miss Gary. Like the other person said, I'm sure this wasn't Gary's favorite song. He didn't even like Keep On Loving You, from what I understand. And that distorted guitar that Gary throws down on that was kind of telling Kevin, hey, let's make this into a rock song. If you've noticed, though, well, you probably already noticed this, but between Keep On Loving You and Can't Fight This Feeling, what happened? Can't Fight This Feeling got even mellower. The ballads got even less gritty. They just became like folk songs. Not folk songs, but folky ballads with Kevin Cronin, which, look, this is Kevin's wheelhouse. And, if I'm going to be consistent, Kevin made everybody a lot of money with his ballads. But a lot of people like the more rock and roll stuff, right? So yeah, always got to be about KC. This person says my favorite guitarist, KCDS on, was that Kevin Cronin derangement syndrome? Could be. Look, I didn't like Kevin Cronin all that much, but I like him less after what he did to Bruce Hall. That's where I'm at. They are both REO. Both wrote some great songs for the band. I'm going to the REO tribute in Champaign. And also to see Kevin again as the headliner elsewhere. Okay, well, hope those concerts don't get canceled. When he's a headliner, he's not doing so good. But you could see Styx and the Casey and the Sunshine Band and Don Felder. Yeah, I call him Casey and the Sunshine Band. Why not, right? I don't think the other KC minds, although the branding might get a little confusing. People might think they're going to get down tonight, and they're not going to get down tonight. Got to see REO 6 times during the 70s. Mostly at Roanoke, Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia. Okay, I didn't need a whole rundown on someone's life. One of my favorite rock ballads, blah, blah, blah. Gary was a rock god who made REO what it was. Gary's guitar riffs are second to none. Even Bruce's bass lines shine on this wonderful song. Good way to bring Bruce into it, right? Gary would feel disrespectful of how Kevin stabbed his REO brothers in the back and not doing a final farewell tour with all of them. Selfish, Kevin. Just let Bruce Hall back in and that would have happened. Gary is rolling over in his grave. 17 thumbs up for that one. Always got to be me, me, me. I hate this song, and Gary did too. Yeah, well, so there you have it, folks. A few responses. If I'm Kevin Cronin, right? Does anyone supervise Kevin? Is he just on his own, just doing what he wants to do? First of all, he's in this group. I don't know, a lot of rock stars, supposed rock stars or whatever, famous people, don't enter into Facebook groups. They're typically doing other things with their time in their life, but apparently now we're going to try to regulate our image here, because what this is, the picture of Kevin and Gary, this is image control, because it's saying, see, we were buddies. We were really close, and that might have been true for a number of years, but they drifted apart, much like, I don't know, some song lyrics, they drifted apart. But this is all like saying, hey, for those people who didn't think Gary and I were close, and look, I know Gary had substance abuse issues. We're going to hear this from the other side. And, when you get into a rock band, and this is a little above the conversation right now, but the temptations are great, and this is a lifestyle. This was a lifestyle. Some of these people are still living this lifestyle at their advanced age, and they not only should retire from that, but they should retire from touring. But there are people and women and people who want to be their suppliers or whatever that are going to show up and say, hey, man, how much do you need? Or she's waiting over there. She's in the other room. You know, it just, this is ridiculous. All of this stuff isn't aging well. But I guess the crux of this video, if there is one, and there may not be one, folks, it just might be me rambling, is that Kevin Cronin, I think, is trying to do damage control. The only way he can rehabilitate himself is to reconcile with Bruce Hall and do a farewell tour and maybe include some of the old-timers that are going to be showing up on the 14th in Champaign, Illinois. That's June 14th. I'll put a link in the description. And if you're a Gary Richrath fan, whoops, see, this is live, right? I'm doing this live, no editing. Richrath 313, Project 313. This is some good music, honoring Gary, honoring his legacy. And I tell you, that's the way it should be, folks. That's the way it should be. Just pictures of Gary, right? And look, I get it. You needed Kevin. You needed Gary. The classic lineup for REO is obviously the high infidelity lineup. Just like Styx, it's Paradise Theater. Journey, it's Escape. Fleetwood Mac, it's Rumors. Pick your band, and they have a classic lineup that everybody likes the best, all right? But if you're an REO fan, the lineup you probably should like the best is the lineup with Gary Richrath in it. And there was an REO before Kevin, and then Kevin leaves, and there was an REO after Kevin, and then Kevin came back. And who knows? There, again, might be an REO without Kevin someday. I think there are a few REO fans that would like that. And by the way, for those of you in the REO camp, the guys who control everything, I have a singer, and he would be more than happy to play the part of Kevin Cronin, and the chicks dig him, man. The chicks love this guy, and he's fronted rock bands before, and I don't know. I think for the right price, he would do it. All right, so that's my little video on the social media interactions. Kevin Cronin, man. I was gonna say, if you don't have to be in a Facebook group, don't be in a Facebook group. There's got to be something you can do. Maybe work on your image a little bit. Since you told Bruce Hall maybe he's got to work on his image. Maybe go out there and try to be a little less grandmotherly when you're on stage and just in public in general. All right, it's going to happen to me soon as well, most likely. But I won't be fronting a rock band. I'll be doing videos that nobody watches. So there you go.